From historic Walsh Gymnasium on the campus of Seton Hall University, this is Big East Women's Basketball on the Big East Digital Network. Seton Hall hosting Butler on the final day of the regular season. Courtside here at Walsh, Sean St. Jacques, the coach, Phil Stern on hand. A little dose of March Madness to kick off the month. A lot can happen today, Coach.
And if you're a Big East fan, this is exactly how you want it. It's the last day of the season. Seeding is on the line. First day in March. Couldn't get any better than this.
Let's take a look at the dose of madness right now in the standings. A lot can happen today. Butler can finish as high as second, depending on how the rest of the games go today. Seton Hall with a loss would drop to 7. With a win could get as high as 4th. And of course, even at the bottom, things can change. A lot can happen. All 10 teams in action.
For Butler, a lot on the line. Again, you can come in second or third, stay away from the 1 seed in Chicago. Of course, that would be DePaul. And for Seton Hall, Coach Bozzella wants to stay out of that 7-10 game, get the extra day of rest for his squad.
A lot of fun things can happen today, no question about that. Players to watch today, we got a couple of great seniors. Christian Spolyers had a phenomenal career for Butler, had a phenomenal game last time out against St. John's, Coach, with 28 points.
The senior, the 5'10", from Lebanon, Indiana, the lefty. First time out against Seton Hall, double-double, 17 points, 11 rebounds. Physical player. Seton Hall needs to keep her off the boards as well. And for Seton Hall, Alexis Lewis, number 10, is the transfer from Iona, has done exactly what they wanted her to do in her only year here, eligible at Seton Hall. She comes off the bench, scores in bunches, needs to knock down a bunch of threes today against Butler.
Should be a really fun matchup. It's Seton Hall and it's Butler, and it's coming up next on the Big East Digital Network.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
South Orange, Sean St. Jacques, Phil Stern here with you on the Big East Digital Network, getting you set for Seton Hall and Butler on the final day of the regular season. Let's send it over to the third member of our team, Megan Caffrey.
Thanks, Sean. These two teams last saw one another back on December 29th in the first game of conference play, in which Seton Hall made an adjustment to zone defense down the stretch, in which head coach Tony Bozzella believes was a difference maker in winning that game for the Pirates. Butler head coach Kurt Godleski told me his team has come a long way since then, specifically in their ability to gain confidence in handling in-game situations when a team makes an adjustment on you like the Pirates did back in December, saying, "My team has grown so much." That growth is going to be especially important in today's game, which has a lot of Big East tournament implications. Guys?
First game between these two, obviously, as Megan mentioned, the fourth quarter comeback the last time these two got together. And as the two teams are introduced inside Walsh Gym, we take a look at the starting lineups. First for the Butler Bulldogs, and obviously we talked about Spolyer, how great of a season she's had, but number 22, Catherine Strong, has also been good this season underneath. It's a really strong front court for Butler.
And again, for Coach Bozzella for Seton Hall, he wants to keep them off the boards. They're physical. He wants them to match their physicality. Obviously, he doesn't think they can shoot the three with them, so it's an interesting battle of different styles.
For the Seton Hall starting lineup, it's a very run-and-gun style for the Pirates. Obviously, it's going to be Shadeen Samuels in there for Seton Hall, and Desiree Elmore also has had a phenomenal season for the Pirates. Mentioned Alexis Lewis, also Barbara Johnson, a third senior who's being honored today on Senior Day for the Pirates.
Yeah, look for there'll be a lot of emotion today for the three seniors, but it's such an important game that you want that nervous energy to go away quickly. Just go out and play your style of basketball. Hopefully the three seniors play as well as they can for as long as they can.
Mention it at the top, Seton Hall can get as high as the 4 seed, as low as the 7 for Butler under Coach Kurt Godlewski. They can get as high as the 2 seed, depending on how the rest of the games go today, or they could drop as low as the 6 seed, but that would be a wild scenario where there's a bunch of ties in the standings at the end of today. There's Coach Bozzella's 7th season as the Seton Hall Pirate head coach, a Seton Hall alum, of course, as well, and he's hoping to lead his Pirates to not only a win today, but out of the first round of the Big East tournament.
Yeah, you don't want to have to play on that first day, but for both teams, all the scenarios don't really matter. Take care of business here.
Butler off to a fast start off the tip. Strong misses. Spolier the offensive rebound. In and out. Strong another offensive board and a recycle for Butler. And a good couple of offensive rebounds to start things off for the Bulldogs.
And again, exactly what Coach Bozzella didn't want early, them pounding the boards. It's 2 offensive rebounds in the first 15 seconds of the game for Butler.
Strong drive inside. Offensive foul on the drive inside by Torre, and it's going the other way.
And again, Seton Hall man-to-man right there. Coach said he wanted to start out early in man, maybe play a little zone later in the game. Desiree Elmore does a little bit of everything there. She showed you her defensive prowess by stepping in and drawing the charge. Lauren Park Lane brings it over midcourt, get into a little 1-4 high set for Seton Hall.
Lewis on the backside. Here's Johnson. Samuels dribbled into traffic, and Johnson was able to just hold on to that. 9 to shoot for Samuels, who drives on Spolier through the contact. Offensive foul going the other way. Spolier holds her ground.
Tough call there on the baseline as Samuels drives it. Spolier was there in time. It's just a matter of was she in the circle or not. Looks like she was. Christy Mosley on the call. Three tremendous referees on the game today. Christy Mosley, Keith Miller, and Norma Jones.
Took the words right out of my mouth. They do have a great crew today for this one as Strong pulls up for a 3. Too strong. Lewis has the rebound. Lauren Park Lane up the floor. It's going to be a real contrast in styles for this game as Seton Hall loves to run up and down and get quick shots. Air ball by Elmore. Pick back and the putback in by Samuels, and the seniors on the board.
And there you saw Samuels do all of the work there before she got the ball. Did a great job of getting the post player on the high side. Easy dump in for 2.
Samuels, Johnson, and Lewis, the 3 Seton Hall seniors, honored before the game today. Lewis right there with the steal on the baseline. Park Lane, the freshman. Up ahead, Elmore, baseline drive. And I believe she was fouled. And Bry picks it up on the baseline.
And again, Seton Hall does a good job of pushing on makes and misses. There they got the ball, kicked it ahead to Elmore, who drove it left to draw the foul.
Keys to the game for Seton Hall coach, you were telling us before the game, physicality certainly one of them, but also knocking down 3-pointers, very important.
Yeah, they got to match the physicality of Butler, who's a more physical team than them. They got to make 10 threes. They made 11 in the first meeting, which they won on the road, and they got to keep Spolier under 15 points, under her average.
Spolier tried to get that pass inside. It was tipped away. And it's back with the Pirates. So far, so good for Seton Hall defensively. And here's the keys to the game for Butler. And that first one's pretty important. Control the tempo.
Again, control the tempo. You don't want it to be a track meet, which it was not the first time around. Change defenses, show different looks to the point guard, freshman point guard for Seton Hall, and get to the foul line 10 more times than Seton Hall does. They have a great stat, Butler. They have made more free throws than their opponents have attempted. All coaches dream of that.
It's a wild stat. It's great ball movement, but Genesis Parker traveled on the perimeter, and it's going to go back to Seton Hall. So a couple of Butler miscues in the first few minutes here. And extremely low scoring so far. Just the Samuels bucket. It's still 2-0.
You know, and again, senior day, you warm up a little differently. The visiting team goes in the locker room, they come back out. So both teams need to find their legs.
Strong tried to get that away from Elmore, but it goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Pirates with 7:27 to go in the opening quarter.
And again, Butler in a man-to-man right now. And for Lauren Park Lane, she needs to recognize, call a play, and run whatever play she calls. Looks like they're matching up out of it a little bit right now.
Johnson tried to find Elmore, and it is going to be a jump ball on the baseline. That was Torre who dove to the floor, the freshman from Washington State.
And this is something that Coach Bozzella talked to us about the game. Scoring on their baseline out of bounds plays will be very important.
Right into the senior Johnson. Tough fadeaway jumper, too strong. Tapped out, Johnson gets her own miss. Samuels for three. In and out. And Torre has the board for Butler.
But again, Seton Hall will live with that possession. You got Shadeen shooting a wide open three off an offensive rebound.
Here's Spolier, the senior, has had a phenomenal Butler career and can beat you in so many different ways, especially inside the three-point line. Strong, miscommunication with Spolier and a miscue. It's thrown away.
Not a bad turnover. Great offense. Little flare screen. She curled it. She was open. The pass was just a little bit behind her. But a key to Butler's turnovers are also, that's a dead ball turnover. Seton Hall can't get down the floor and get a quick layup or a quick three on that.
Radhika Saris, the redshirt junior from Las Palmas in Spain, checks in for the first time for Butler. Lauren Park Lane, the freshman, floater in the lane is good. And the Pirates have a 4-0 lead with 6.5 to play in the first.
Again, some down screen set for the shooting guards there, and Lauren Park Lane just took it right down the middle and made a nice floater.
Freshman from Wilmington, Delaware, has had a really strong freshman campaign for the Pirates, and she's really taken control of that point guard role. Genesis Parker for Butler. Spolier, 9 to shoot. Parker pulls up for a three. It's short initially. It was going to fall off the rim. There's a foul underneath as Torre was fighting for the offensive board. It's going to be, I think, on Barbara Johnson. That is her first personal foul. Jasmine Smith will check in for Johnson with 6:03, I should say, to go in the first quarter, as that foul ends up taking away a missed shot and maybe a possible rebound for the Pirates.
Exactly. Great matchup to watch here. Two Player of the Year candidates, Spolier and Samuels, guarding each other on the defensive end here for Seton Hall.
Three-pointer blocked by Elmore. Parker on the baseline, drive, scores off the glass. Great recovery by Butler that time, and Parker a little shaken up as she goes back up the floor. Elmore was flying all over the court trying to stop her, and we're seeing that early effort in what's turning out to be a really important game.
And again, it's a game where everyone knows what's on the line. They're going to leave everything out there today, but within that, you have to play within your system and play your style of basketball.
Jasmine Smith on the drive side of the backboard, but it looks like she's fouled going up with it. And Jasmine Smith will head to the free throw line for Seton Hall for 2 shots.
And again, offense off the bench for Seton Hall is really important. So Barbara Johnson picks up her second foul. Smith comes right in, takes it right to the hoop, draws the second foul right there on Torre.
It's a couple of big foul things to work out there early on. Jasmine Smith, the junior from Houston, Texas, knocks down the first.
And again, in a low-scoring affair, you would think it favored Butler, but right now the tempo hasn't. You can't tell who's in charge of the tempo right now. The teams are feeling each other out. Seton Hall pick up full court a little bit just to turn the dribbler.
And Jasmine Smith, who hasn't taken a lot of free throws this year, knocks down a big pair early, and Seton Hall has a 4-point lead.
Important for her to be aggressive. Again, Seton Hall needs to get to the foul line.
Spolier in trouble. Out to Caceres. Good defense so far by Samuels, but she let her go that time, short on the three. Offensive rebound by Bry on the stick back.
And again, one of our keys to the game, the offensive boards right there. Bry goes right to the O boards, lays it in. And again, for Seton Hall, they got to do a better job checking out off the ball.
Maya Jackson in for her first minutes. Oh, that hit off the referee, but it still stays with Butler. Parker up ahead, lays it in off the glass, and it's a tie game.
Fortuitous bounce there for Butler. As we all know, the referee is part of the floor. Keith Miller was in bounds, leads to a break the other way.
Tough break for Seton, although Butler probably would have gotten it anyway, to be fair.
Yep,
off the pass by Jackson. Elmore pulls up, way off on the jumper. Parker has the rebound.
You can see Butler gets a defensive rebound, and they want to walk the ball up the court. Coach Godlewski calling a set play right here. They're going to play through Bry at the top.
Caceres from the Bry feed. Good defense by Samuels, and she rips it away from Torre. Here comes Maya Jackson. Pirates trying to pick up the tempo. Great pass by Smith. The finish short by Elmore. Lewis, second try is good. And the Pirates are back in front.
And again, Lewis can score in different ways. One way we haven't talked about is about on the offensive board. She's a big guard, and if she gets to the offensive board, she's going to add to her numbers tonight.
Caceres, too strong. Samuels has the rebound. Good box out by Smith on Torre. Elmore thought about it. Inside to Lewis, ripped away by Torre. Boy, Butler's defense, you're starting to see it a little bit early on, how swarming they can be. And Torre out of nowhere ripped that away from Lewis when she thought she maybe had a baseline opportunity. Spolier. Oh, great defense. That's a jump ball. Alexis Lewis got her hands on it. And it'll stay with Butler, I believe, as we head into our first timeout. 3:25 to go inside Walsh Gym. It's getting physical already. This game with so much importance for both teams. Seton Hall with an early 2-point lead on the Big East Digital Network.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead. We got to raise it up.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Together!
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was gonna spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
Three and a half to go in the first quarter. Sean St. Jacques, Phil Stern, Megan Caffrey here with you inside Walsh Gym. Pirates and the Bulldogs with a lot on the line here today as far as seeding for the upcoming Big East tournament. Last meeting between these two was a dandy, coach. This was very early. First game of the conference season. Seton Hall with a huge double-digit comeback in the fourth quarter. And how big does that win look right now with the Pirates trying to get a season sweep and trying to move up in the standings?
It's huge because it makes this game a big game. In a scheduling quirk, they played the first game of the year and the last game of the year.
Right.
So again, they're totally different teams right now. And Tony talked about going zone, so he hasn't done it yet. We'll see what happens.
Samuels underneath, the lay-in is good. Great feed by Desiree Elmore. He's having a great season so far as well for Seton Hall. Now, looks like maybe a miscue here on the inbounds play.
Yeah,
It is. It's an out-of-bounds violation against Butler. Was uncontested, and it's given back to Seton Hall.
Don't see that often, but another opportunity for the Pirates.
Lauren Park Lane off a Samuels screen. Pulls up, it's a 2. Short. Offensive rebound, Samuels is swarmed. Diving on the floor, Bry saves it for Butler to Caceres. Great effort on both ends.
Butler really long anytime they double you down on the block or in a corner. It's hard to pass out of the double team.
Somehow Samuels got that rebound, and then Butler just swarmed her on the baseline, and Caceres ended up coming out with it off the great effort by Bryan. Now it's ripped away by Elmore. Lauren Park Lane up ahead. No look pass to Smith. Back to Lauren Park Lane. Elmore assessing her options. Samuels on the drive is fouled by Strong, going to her left.
Great job by Elmore going left. Again, you can't put your hand on the ball handle. They're going to automatically call it. Norma Jones right on that for the call. And again, Seton Hall needs to drive it again here. You want to get to 5 fouls as quick as you can in women's basketball, because in each quarter you get to 5 fouls, you're shooting 2 shots.
Ashanti Thomas, the 6'4" redshirt senior from Lexington, Kentucky, is in the game. Big size advantage now, even more so for Butler.
And a 2-3 zone here for Butler. They'll match up out of it. They'll do some different things. Seton Hall has to do a good job changing sides of the court and having player movement and ball movement.
Great pass by Samuels, but the shot is missed by Lewis. I think that might have been a no-look feed, senior to senior there, but Lewis could knock it down.
And you see Butler is content to just walk it up, throw it into the post, cut a little bit.
Baseline jumper is short. Pirates will take that shot, as that's a rebound by Elmore. Lauren Park Lane cutting through the defense. Samuels to Lewis, and it'll be a recycle. Great pass to a cutting Elmore, who stopped by Caceres. Wild fadeaway jump shot, no good. Fight for the rebound. Bodies diving on the floor. Last off Seton Hall, it's Butler basketball.
Again, both teams scrapping. You know there's a lot on the line. Everybody on the floor. And it's, again, this could be a battle of attrition. Both teams played difficult games Friday night. Butler played an overtime game at St. John's. Seton Hall played a close home game against Xavier. And again, tonight's going to be who wants it more and what's on the line.
Great call on that near side. It just ricocheted off of Smith after Spolier did get a touch, but it was definitely last off of Jasmine Smith. Boy, the effort in this first quarter has been phenomenal on both sides. Parker guarded tightly by Lauren Park Lane. Spolier has 8 to shoot. Wild floater in the lane, no good. Fight for the rebound. Thomas has it, flips it back up, in it goes.
Huge basket for Butler, someone they're not counting on to get some buckets for them. Gets an offensive rebound, puts it back in.
Used all 6'4" of her frame to get that offensive rebound. Great passing by the Pirates there, but Lewis misses on the 10-footer, and Butler has it back.
But good zone offense by Seton Hall. Got the ball to the short corner. You have Lewis in the middle of the zone who can knock down that 15-footer all day. She just didn't make that one.
Alesh is in for her first minutes for the Pirates, number 31 in white. Thomas right over her, no good. Lewis has the rebound. That's why Alesh is in there, to match the size. She does well defensively there.
Great post defense by Alesh. Has played behind her, put her hands up. She's going to have to make some post moves to score or score off offensive rebounds down there for Butler.
6'1", redshirt sophomore from nearby Basking Ridge. Here's Maya Jackson. About a second difference between the shot clock and the game clock at the end of this first quarter. 5 to shoot. Jackson thought about it. Alesh hits it as the shot clock expires and as the quarter expires. Big time shot, and the Pirates have a 5-point lead after the first quarter.
Great ball movement. They screened the zone there, ball screen, reverse it. Bottom of the zone comes out, kick it to the corner. Alesh knocks down the 3.
Boy, it's been a grinder so far in this first quarter. Highly competitive action here in South Orange. Alesh with the big shot at the end of the quarter. Pirates lead 13-8 as we go to the second quarter on the Big East Digital Network.
You're watching Seton Hall basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up.
all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're going to work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go show them. 1, 2, 3.
Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
5-point lead for the Pirates as we head into the second quarter. Sean St. Jacques, Phil Stern, Megan Caffrey on hand inside historic Walsh Gym on the campus of Seton Hall University. This is what they're all playing for today, Coach. The women's basketball tournament in Chicago. Ticket packages are on sale now. Reserved seating all session. Ticket booklets start at just $50 per package. Courtside seating is also available. All session ticket packages include all 5 sessions of the tournament. Single session tickets as low as $15, and groups of 15 or more can purchase single session tickets for just $8. www.bigeast.com/WBB tickets is the place to go. March 6th to the 9th at Wintrust Arena in Chicago, Illinois. Butler trying to get as high as the 2 seed in Chicago. Seton Hall trying to avoid the 7 spot, then get as high as the 4 seed. And of course, that all happens if they get a win today.
And look, if everybody plays as hard next week as these guys are playing right now, you got a great tournament on your hands next week in Chicago. For Butler, though, points that maybe they didn't expect right there. Ashanti Thomas off the bench because of foul trouble and some guys being injured, gets a no board, puts it back in. Huge for Butler.
So far, it's tight offensive rebounds, Coach. We talked about it during the break. 5-3, it favors Butler. Seton Hall trying to hang with Butler in the rebounding department. Right now, Seton Hall has 4 to shoot. Samuels pulls up. In and out. Alesh fights for the rebound. Torrey rips it away from her, and Butler has it.
Again, right now the pace a little deliberate, and I think Butler has an advantage that way. Seton Hall is going to have to try to speed him up a little bit.
Amelia Sexton, the sophomore from Louisville, Kentucky's in, as well as Jamelyn Robinson for Butler. Fight for it underneath. I think that was last off of Alesh. It is. It's going to stay with Butler, and they'll get a 20-second shot clock.
And look for Butler to start to run some things through Spoliar, get her involved a little more, whether as a scorer or a passer if they might double her.
Yeah, no points on 0 of 3 from the field for Spoliar. And right on cue, she gets inside and is fouled. You're right on top of it, Coach.
Samuels lost her there on a back cut. It wasn't bad defense. They ran a great baseline out of bounds play. We talked about that. You got to be efficient, and there she gets an opportunity to maybe knock a couple of free throws down, get herself going.
The first trip to the line for the Butler Bulldogs today.
You know, this will give Butler a chance, too, to maybe get back in that 2-3 zone with the lineup they have out there right now.
Spoliar just gets the first to go for the Bulldogs. See there at the bottom of your screen, she's a 76% free throw shooter this season and one of the best scorers in the conference for most of her career. Couple ones that were a little tricky there, but they both go down, and it is a 3-point game.
And again, gives Butler a chance. They're in that zone. They'll match up out of it a little bit. Seton Hall's got to get the ball to the short corner.
Jackson, short. Alesh flies in, offensive rebound. Elmore on the putback, no good. Fight for the rebound again. Butler basketball. Boy, every possession, it's just life or death, it feels like right now.
And here you see Seton Hall will pick up a little full court, man-to-man, just to turn the dribble a little bit. Oh, no, here they're going to run and jump a little bit out of it, I think, with Park Lane.
Jackson immediately picks up Torrey across the timeline. Sexton. Over to Thomas, who's had a good impact so far. Torrey couldn't quite hold on to it. Another body's flying on the floor situation. Elmore comes up with it. Here's Lauren Park Lane for the Pirates. Finding Lewis in transition. And the 3 goes.
Again, turnover that leads to a quick 3 for Seton Hall. Now they get to pick up full court and speed the game up.
Offensive foul. Sexton Great defense by Lauren Park Lane to get in front of her, and Maya Jackson was there to help, and it's a Bulldog turnover.
Seton Hall feeds off the energy, right? They kick it up ahead to Lewis. The senior knocks down a three on senior night. Then the guards pick up full court, turn the dribbler, offensive foul, another chance.
Another look at the offensive foul, clearly a push-off on Sexton. Lauren Park Lane making sure the ref knew with a little jiggy there.
And again, Butler right back into that zone. Look for Seton Hall to get it in the middle of the Lewis or on the short corner to Elmore.
Alesh lost it, fight for the rebound. It's another jump ball. And the arrow gives it back to Butler with just over 8 minutes to go in the half.
And again, with the lineup, with Butler kind of switching lineups a little bit, sometimes it's harder to run offense. This is more of a conventional lineup for them right now, but look for them to run through Spolier and get her the ball in different places.
Looks like the clock is not operating correctly on the basket to our right. Keith Miller is all over it, part of our great crew here today in South Orange.
Did you bring your tools? Could you help?
The toolbox is in the trunk right now, Coach. I have to say, I'd have to run out to the back and get it, but looks like they're good right now. They're trying to fix it at the moment. As we're kind of looking around, I mean, it's a great crowd here today. The Walsh is packed. I mean, this kind of feels like the days when Seton Hall was constantly challenging for the NCAA tournament. It's been a great atmosphere, and the play has really lived up to the hype of surrounding this game. There's so many scenarios, but like you said, Coach, one common denominator, a win is huge for whoever gets it.
You got to control what you can control. There's a lot of scenarios. Everyone likes to talk about it. Win this game, and you'll have a better seed, I'm sure. There's a scenario where they maybe could play each other, though. Wouldn't that be exciting?
That would be something.
Good news for the coaches is you don't have to change the scouting report that much. You're already prepared for the game. In this timeout, though, both coaches get a little more time to settle the guys down, talk to them about what they want to do.
Do you think this helps Butler a little bit more? Seton Hall just got a really nice stretch of play there, a three, a steal. Yep. They've been really battling on the defensive end. They got a big rebound, and now Butler maybe gets a chance to catch their breath.
Yeah, it stops the momentum of the Pirates a little bit, again, but both teams get to talk to their team and work out what they want to do. You know, really for Seton Hall, having a freshman point guard, anytime you could huddle up and talk to your team helps. Although they have veterans out there, Lauren Park Lane has the ball in her hand the whole time.
We've been keeping an eye on the rebounding battles so far. It's +4 for Butler, which isn't terrible for Seton Hall. They've been fighting to stay in that fight so far. Obviously, Butler's so efficient inside when they get there, but Seton Hall's been making it really tough on them anytime they get inside the perimeter. That's really where Butler can hurt you, and so far, Seton Hall's fight defensively has kind of been keeping the Bulldogs at bay. We're getting closer to fixing the shot clock and the game clock here.
Yep, and again, Ashante Thomas coming in, getting you an offensive rebound and a bucket is just a huge plus for Butler, especially if they have to play some different lineups.
And you mentioned a couple of the role players for both teams. You mentioned with Thomas for Butler. On the other end for Seton Hall, we've seen Jasmine Smith come in and play some good defense as well. And Lauren Park Lane the last few possessions has really shown her growth over this first year in South Orange.
Absolutely. They put a lot of trust in a freshman point guard with some veteran players out there. And here you see Maya Jackson, another freshman, picking up full court.
Back underway, just under 8 minutes to play in the first half. Seton Hall and Butler on the final day of the Big East regular season. Genesis Parker driving on Jackson. Trying to find Spolier. Guarded tightly by Desiree Elmore. Spolier drives. Offensive foul. Elmore draws it on a great defensive possession by the Pirates.
Great scouting, too, by Seton Hall. They made her go right. She gets an offensive foul going right. She's much more comfortable going left. She can go right. But again, huge foul picked up right there for Seton Hall on Spolier.
First foul on Spolier. Park Lane to Elmore at the elbow. Tough baseline fader is good. What a tough shot by Desiree Elmore, but that's in her locker. 8-point Pirate lead.
Again, lefty against lefty. Spolier against Elmore. Elmore won that battle.
How pretty was that? Parker got a little fancy there, diving on the floor for it. Spolier got it as Parker just about saved that. Spolier around his screen, pulls up for three. Short. Bry has the rebound and a recycle for Butler.
And I think that's what Seton Hall would rather see Spolier do, is shoot a dribble up three like that off a ball screen.
Parker. Near side Sexton, 9 to shoot for the Bulldogs. It's Bry on the baseline. Kick out Sexton, 3 to shoot for Butler. Spolier doesn't know it. Torrey just gets it off, no good. tapped out by Elmore, and Lauren Park Lane can't save it. A crucial give back by Seton Hall. That was big.
And again, you have a great defensive possession. You have the rebound, you knock it out of bounds. It's demoralizing at times, but you have to take from that you're playing great defense. You're doing a great job on the top of the scouting report on Spolier, and you're going to try to make other people beat you.
I think Elmore it was just out of her reach, looking at the replay there. And Park Lane couldn't quite catch up to it. So Caceres will inbound.
And again, Butler only 10 points till this point in the game. Again, your second game of the weekend. Maybe you don't have the legs you had Friday night.
Caceres. Deep three-point jump shot is pure. Wow, just thought about looking around and then said, you know what, I'm going to take it, and she makes it.
Yeah, she almost had to take it. There wasn't much going on offensively, and I think Seton Hall will live with that shot, but she knocked it down to her credit.
Her first points of the game. It's a 5-point game. 6:12 to play in the first half. Lauren Park Lane inside, just off the rim, no good. Bry has the rebound for Butler.
And again, Butler, they're going to walk the ball up the court, and they're pretty efficient in how they run their offense. Let's see what they get into right here with Spolier out of the game.
Bry. Guarded by Lewis. Lewis stripped it away from her. Jackson up ahead. Just out of her reach. She does keep it in, though. Bry and Lewis dive on the floor for it. It is Seton Hall basketball.
And again, anytime there's a loose ball, both teams hitting the floor, several players from both teams hitting the floor. It's March, and that's what it's all about.
We're going to lose track how many times we're going to see bodies diving on the floor today. Just in this first half, it's just been unbelievable, the effort from both teams.
Right now, the referees are getting together about the shot clock, who had possession and when, before the ball was tipped.
That was the thing. Jackson almost lost it on that baseline, was able to save it, and in the end, because of Lewis's effort, saved a possession for Seton Hall right there.
So 24 on the shot clock.
Lauren Park Lane will reset things for the Pirates. Elmore, strong trying to jump the lane there, couldn't quite get it. Samuels cross-court pass to Jackson. Jackson on the baseline, blocking foul. She ran out of room, but Bry didn't give her the room to dribble. And it will be a foul against Bry. Right there, she just stepped right towards the baseline and didn't give Jackson enough room.
And the Butler big kids are so long, it's hard for them to move their feet.
Great pass underneath and through the trees. Shadeen Samuels finishes it.
Great little baseline out of bounds play, lob it up to Samuels. She doesn't even come down, she just lays it in.
6 points early on for the senior from Ossining, New York. Torre spinning past Jackson, kicks it out for Parker. So try a three, that's way off, an air ball. And it goes to the Pirates. Boy, that is something you rarely see from Genesis Parker.
Seton Hall's playing really suffocating defense right now. Not a lot of easy looks except for the 1-3 for Caceres here in the second quarter, and it's letting them extend their lead a little bit.
Lauren Park Lane so far, 2 points, 2 assists. Here's Desiree Elmore with under 5 to play in the first half. Jackson. Far side, Alexis Lewis. Lauren Park Lane has 7 to shoot. Step back jumper, too strong. Fight for the rebound. It was tapped out, and Park Lane can't save it. It'll be Butler basketball.
And that's a shot that Butler is going to live with because Lauren Park Lane off the switch has to shoot over a 6'2" kid. Make that 15-footer a much more difficult shot than it is.
4.5 to play in the first half. Seton Hall leads it 20-13 on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Seton Hall basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it.
What can great minds do?
While at Seton Hall, I interned with the Superior Court of New Jersey, and that inspired me to go to law school.
I am a physics and civil engineering major, and I want to work on infrastructure in underdeveloped countries.
I'm the news director at one of the top college radio stations in the country.
I'm working with my professor on research that could help athletes during sudden cardiac events.
I started my own business, Classic Soccer Cleats, and I just sold it to a company in England.
Come see for yourself what great minds can do.
Sean St. Jacques, Phil Stern, Megan Caffrey back here with you in South Orange. 7-point lead for the Pirates. So far, so good defensively for Seton Hall. And Seton Hall this season, great stat from our producer Dagan Hughes, 16-1 when keeping opponents below 70 points and 9-0 when allowing no more than 60 points this season. Butler with only 13 points with 4.5 to go in the first half. Coach was telling us before the game, Coach Bozzella, that his team's got to be more physical, got to be stronger. It's gone according to plan so far for the Pirates.
And he's got to be happy with that for the first quarter and a half here, matching the physicality, if not being more physical than Butler. And it's not just the post players. All the guards are sticking their nose in there. It's a total team effort. Great defensive effort for the first quarter and a half, 13 points for Butler.
Last 4.5 minutes for Butler, 4 turnovers. So just about a turnover per minute so far in the most recent Butler possessions. Pirates have a 7-point lead, again seeding a huge factor with the result of this game and many others across the Big East. And Kristen Spolier says, I got to step up. Her first field goal of the game, and it's back to a 5-point game. She's up to 4 points.
Great set out of the timeout. Spolier checked back into the game, sets a little down screen, posts up in the lane. Desiree Elmore let her get to her left hand that time. She gets it down 1, but good execution out of the timeout by Butler.
Spolier at the line, now 3 of 3, 5 points for the senior on 1 of 5 shooting. Back to a 4-point game, 4:15 to go in what's been a very exciting first half of basketball.
And again, back to man-to-man for Butler, even though Seton Hall ran a zone play right there, still got the ball into the middle.
Is tapped out. Good defense by Spolier there on the help, and it'll stay with the Pirates on the near sideline.
14 on the shot clock for Seton Hall.
Lauren Park Lane will set things up. 8 to shoot. Shadeen Samuels past Torre was run into by Spolier, and that is the second foul on Kristen Spolier with 3:54 to go in the first half. And she's telling her coach, please keep me in this game.
Huge point in the game right here. If she stays in, she's got to be less aggressive.
Samuels trying to be aggressive, kicks it out to Lewis. An extra pass, far corner, Jackson short. Elmore the offensive rebound, the floater is good. Desiree Elmore has 4 points, and the Pirates have a 6-point lead. Elmore almost took it away, and it'll stay with Butler on the far sideline.
The more you watch Desiree Elmore, the more she surprises you. There's always something else she does. Offensive rebound, sprint back down the floor, tip a ball out of bounds so Butler can't get into their offense. She literally does a little bit of everything.
Jasmine Smith back in for the Pirates. Seems like we've seen her a couple times this year. It seems like we learn something new about her game every time we watch her, whether it's on the offensive end or on the defensive end. She's just so much fun to watch.
And she's smooth in whatever she's doing. She looks good no matter what.
That's a great word to describe her game. It really is smooth. As Spolier drives inside, she was fouled before she went up. That's against Desiree Elmore. That's the 3rd team foul. So it'll be a side out on the baseline for Butler.
And again, look for Spolier to really try to take over here for the last 3:30 of the first half.
Like you mentioned, she is in some foul trouble, so she has to be a little bit wary of that. Jackson poked that away. Spolier saves the possession. Spolier turns, ripped away by Samuels. Up ahead, Park Lane to Elmore, and it rolls home.
Great hit ahead by Park Lane. Elmore did a great job running the floor. They take advantage of the turnover above the 3-point line. It leads to points.
24-16 Pirate lead. Just under 3 to play in the first half. And you're starting to get some vibes from the crowd. Walsh is getting into it, and the Bulldogs turn it over. Caceres over the head of Bry. Coach Bozzella just pointing at his defense, saying, that's what I'm looking for.
I think he liked the execution there. They tried to isolate Spolier again in the post. They had Elmore come in and help. Caceres made the right read, tried to kick it to the corner, just too high, went out of bounds.
Jasmine Smith over to Park Lane. Smith drives, kick out to Samuels, it's a 3. Good rotation, but it's no good. Off the right side of the rim, Spolier has the rebound. There's a foul away from the basketball, and Lauren Park Lane, I think, got caught there off ball.
And again, silly foul there, 50 feet away from the basket by the freshman. Gets you to your 4th foul. The next foul on Seton Hall, it's 2 shots for Butler. Same way for the other way around. They both have 4 fouls. You're shooting 2 shots the rest of the half.
Yeah, so Seton Hall has no more fouls to give here in this first half on that foul by Park Lane. And now maybe Butler gets a little more aggressive, driving inside and trying to get to the free throw line here. Here's Caceres. Good defense by Jasmine Smith. Spolier allows Parker to dribble into some space. When Bry traveled on the far baseline, great defense by Elmore just to be there, make sure she had to think about that, and it forces a mistake.
And that whole set was 2 screens for Spolier to get her into the block. Bray just didn't have enough patience, and she went before letting her post up.
Here's Samuels. 2 to play in the first half. Knocked away by Bry. Elmore regains possession. Park Lane in the far corner. Elmore on the baseline. Spins inside through contact. Shot is off. Parker has the rebound. Spolier crosses up Smith all the way to the bucket, off the rim. Jackson has it. Pirates could hurry into a 3-on-1. Samuels up ahead. Basket goes. The Pirates are running up and down. They've got a 10-point lead with $1:30 to play in the first half.
And again, when they get out in transition and run and the Walsh Gymnasium gets into the game, it's a whole nother team.
Good screen by Bry to open it up for Parker. And the Walsh crowd has been really electric over the last few minutes of this first half. Caceres. Bry thought about it, says why not? And that's why. She takes the 3 and makes it. Big shot for Butler. 5 points for Bry, and it's back to a 7-point game with under a minute to play.
She stepped into that with confidence, and the Bulldogs really need that right now. Have some other guys step up, maybe not rely as much on Spolier.
Elmore on the baseline. Turns, kicks to Smith. It's a 3. Short. Spolier has the rebound. About a 10-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock at the end of this first half.
And again, they'll bleed this down as much as they can.
Spolier with Samuels on her. Good defense by Samuels. Forces Spolier to pass it away to Caceres. Bulldogs have 8 to shoot here, and Caceres is at the halfway line. Great pass to Torre. Jumper is good, and the foul. Great composure by Torre. Under pressure. Chance for a 3-point play with 14 seconds to play in the half.
Great recognition by Caceres there. She didn't panic. She was, as you said, out by half court with a little guard on her. She still made the entry pass into the elbow to get them the M1. 2
huge possessions for Butler, and they've cut the lead in half. Could cut it to a 4-point game here with Torre at the free throw line. With the second half, or should say halftime, looming.
And don't be surprised if they don't get Spolier out right here with the 2 fouls. Nope, it's Torre that comes out. Spolier stays in. And really, Seton Hall should just go attack Spolier right now with 14 seconds left. See if they could pick up the 3rd.
Pirates have 9 seconds at the end of this first half. 4-point game. Park Lane inside to Samuels. It's knocked away. Parker up ahead on the floor. She has 2 seconds. 1 second. The layup goes at the buzzer. What a huge run at the end of this first half for Butler. And a 10-point Pirate lead has been cut to 2 at the half.
Great last minute there for the Bulldogs. Not only staying in the game, but really cutting the lead to 2 in a situation where their best player was on the court with 2 fouls, and she stayed on the court, and they still got a bucket the other way. So that all worked out for Butler.
Big minute at the end of the first half for Butler. We head into the halftime break. Pirates had a great stretch in that second quarter. They led by as many as 10, but it's Butler within 2 as we head to the halftime break here in South Orange on the Big East Digital Network. Halftime here in South Orange. Really fun day of college hoops on the Big East Digital Network. Time to take a look at a great feature as we went behind the scenes with the Creighton women's basketball team.
The entire recruitment with Creighton compared to other schools, it was just different. Like when you talk to other schools, they wanted to know like some facts about you, but it wasn't necessarily you as a person. Whereas Creighton, they took a genuine interest in who I was outside of basketball, and then I felt like their morals and values kind of lined up with what I was looking for. So it was really just perfect.
The biggest thing that stood out to me during my recruitment at Creighton is the effort. They made it a point to really build a relationship with me and my parents. They were constantly in contact with me, asked me how my day was, really getting to know me as a person and not just a basketball player. I think that makes the world of a difference.
We think it's important to treat people the right way, to treat them well, to be demanding, but also to take care of them and let them know that we're here for them, we're here to listen.
Flan understands that basketball is just a small part of life and there's a lot more to life than that. And I honestly think that that contributes to our success on the court because it takes some of the pressures off you and you kind of just are free to play and to grow and to know that it's not going to be perfect.
We're also about more than just the athletic experience and the student experience. I think it's important that you give them an opportunity to experience as much of Creighton as is possible for a student athlete. So we probably monopolize their time a little bit less than some programs do, and when we are on the road, we let them do things that are cultural and educational.
When you're not constantly at each other's necks in practice, and we get to go do fun things when we go on these trips, so you get to learn a lot about each other. You know, there's so many examples of kids that you would never put together as friends that become really, really close friends, that it shows you the importance of having those off-court encounters.
Coming into college, you don't really know what to expect, but the culture here and the people here, you have 11 built-in best friends. And I can say for a fact that if I'm having a bad day, every single teammate would be able to just listen and give advice, whether you really need to hear it or not.
The one thing that strikes me the longer I've been in coaching is just how great a job our players do at looking out for one another. Juniors and seniors are really mindful of the adversity maybe and the stumbling blocks that freshmen and sophomores are going to go through, and I think they do a great job.
The people here, the community here, the experience you have here, teammates, all of that, when you reflect back on it, it's well worth it.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead. We got to raise it up.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? And we gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
What can great minds do?
While at Seton Hall, I interned with the Superior Court of New Jersey, and that inspired me to go to law school.
I am a physics and civil engineering major, and I want to work on infrastructure in underdeveloped countries.
I'm the news director at one of the top college radio stations in the country.
I'm working with my professor on research that could help athletes during sudden cardiac events.
I started my own business, Classic Soccer Cleats, and I just sold it to a company in England.
Come see for yourself what great minds can do.
Back here in South Orange, 2-point Pirate lead. Sean St. Jacques here with you on the Big East Digital Network. Pirates and Bulldogs obviously playing for a lot today, as are all teams really in the Big East Conference today, as we take a look at a great week really in the Big East. Players of the Week and the weekly honor roll. Mary Gadeka's had a phenomenal season for the Villanova Wildcats. Leilani Correa has had a phenomenal freshman year. Big East Freshman of the Week for the Red Storm, and two really great highlight players, Coach, who've had a strong season, not only for the Wildcats, but for the Johnnies as well.
And again, two teams that are, right now vying for a really high seed.
Yeah.
And so the games they're playing right now are huge, but they've done a good job getting their teams in position to be a high seed in the Big East tournament next week.
First time since 2015, Villanova swept Marquette and DePaul. Pretty impressive from the Wildcats. Take a look at the honor roll this week. We've got a couple of them here. At least Christian Spolier had a phenomenal senior season. Obviously, everybody on this list had a phenomenal year, but Shante Stonewall always stands out to me. What a phenomenal season she's had for the Big East regular season champs.
And again, we saw her together live here at Seton Hall. So impressive, scores in different ways, is so strong around the basket, gets up and down the floor like a guard. Again, the Big East has a lot of great players this year. I'm glad I'm not a coach having to vote on all the awards.
Maddie Seegers as well, redshirt freshman on the honor roll this week as well. If she doesn't get Big East Freshman of the Year, well, there's something wrong there. But it's been a phenomenal season for a ton of great players inside this great conference. As we take a look at really what they're playing for today, it's really been a phenomenal season in the Big East, and it's going to be a phenomenal Big East tournament as well. Let's take a look at the standings at the moment. DePaul's already won the regular season. Marquette is at second. Well, that's being threatened. If Butler wins and things fall into place for Butler, they could jump up to the 2 seed. Seton Hall, of course, trying to avoid the 7 spot with a loss. That's almost exactly where they're going to be, which will be a first-round game, most likely against Xavier, depending on how things play out. Stay at the bottom as well, and obviously Creighton and St. John's, there's still work for them as well.
And again, what the Big East coaches that are in the middle of the pack are thinking about right now is, I want to stay out of the 4 or 5 bracket. I don't want to have to play DePaul in the semifinals in Chicago. And it's something a lot of people don't think about, but coaches look at that scenario all the time. You want to be 2 or 3, or maybe you want to be 6. You just want to stay away from the home team, supposedly, in Chicago.
And that's what it comes down to. You just want to make sure you can get as far as you can, or at least give yourself the best chance to go as far as you can. As what we've been talking about, seeding scenarios throughout the entire day. So many things can happen, but we're excited to see what's going to happen as well. We'll take a look at what happened earlier today before the game. Great senior day shots here. Barbara Johnson, Shadeen Samuels as well, along with Alexis Lewis. It's been a fun day so far in South Orange. Pirates are hoping that it leads to a win. Butler, though, within 2 at the half on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Seton Hall basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in. I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah! That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Sean St. Jacques, Phil Stern back here with you at the half. Seton Hall leading Butler 26-24 on the Big East Digital Network, getting you set for the second half. Take a look at some of the first half stats and highlights so far, Coach. And boy, we'll start with the highlights because it was a lot of fun in the first half. A lot of players diving on the floor for loose balls. It was really great defensive showing from both teams and just a grinder of a first half. And we really got to feel the intensity of a huge game for both teams.
And at times you saw each tempo that the teams wanted. At times Butler was grinding it out, walking the ball up. At times Seton Hall was getting turnovers above the three-point line, from running out and getting layups and three-pointers.
Really physical half as well. Pirates were really strong down low, especially defensively. Alesh hit a big shot at the end of the first quarter, and Seton Hall had a lead as high as 10 in the first quarter, Coach, but Butler went on a late 8-0 run, made their last 3 shots of the half, and now it's a 2-point game and they're right back in it.
And again, great job by Butler finishing the half. Coaches always talk about finishing the last couple of minutes strong, which is what they did with that 8-0 run. For Seton Hall, they could hang their hat on. They forced Butler into 14 turnovers, led to some points for them, led to some easy buckets.
Take a look at the first half stats. Pirates shot really well in the first half, but it was really the fact that they kept Butler shooting under 35% in the first half that really stood out. Great all-around half from Shadeen Samuels, 8 points, 3 rebounds as well. It took until late in the first half, but Butler now out shooting Seton Hall from the free throw line as well, and the rebounds are in Butler's favor as well. But the big stat, 14 first half Butler turnovers that led to Seton Hall points, 13 of them.
And it really is. I mean, you don't mind, Butler doesn't mind the turnovers that go out of bounds. They have to take the ball out of bounds. But if they're giving up threes in transition and layups in transition, the crowd gets into the game. Seton Hall feeds off of that. So look for them to do a better job handling some of the Seton Hall pressure in the second half.
Should be a fun second half in store. And Seton Hall with a 2-point lead at the moment as we are getting ready to send it over to the third member of our team, Megan Caffrey, who is standing by.
At the break, Seton Hall head coach Tony Pizzella told me his team was playing flat down the stretch of the first half, saying they allowed Butler to play to their pace, and you saw that in the final turnover that Seton Hall allowed at the end of that first half. Speaking of turnovers, Butler had 14 turnovers in the first half, and head coach Kurt Godlewski told me that was because his team wasn't playing to themselves. He said at the half, we talked, we need to get back to ourselves and stop playing individually because that was the result of those turnovers.
Thanks a lot, Megan. A lot to digest there from the first half, and obviously Coach Godlewski, I mean, until the end of the first half, couldn't have been too thrilled with the way his team played, but they finished it off strong. They're right back in it, and now Seton Hall has to respond.
I think we talked about the 3:30 mark. They had 13 points. We talked about the statistics with Seton Hall giving up 70 and giving up 60. Well, now that's in play a little bit for Butler. They kept themselves in the game. Coach Godlewski should be thrilled right now that they have a chance.
5 points for Spolier so far. 5 points for Bryan, 6 for Parker. The role players have kind of kept Butler hanging around in this game.
You know, the best laid plans. You never know. Someone at the top of the scouting report not having a good game. You have foul trouble. You have guys out with injuries. That's why it's a team game. People off the bench step up, give you points where you don't expect it.
Again, for those just joining us, a lot on the line in this second half. Seton Hall with a win would avoid the first round of the Big East tournament in Chicago, get as high as the 4 seed depending on how the other games shake out in the Big East today. For Butler, they can get as high as the 2 seed pending the Marquette-DePaul game. Marquette's currently sitting in that 2 spot. They would need a little bit of help from there and a couple other places as well, but they're in good shape for at least the 3 seed. The lowest Butler could get is the 6 seed, although as Coach you mentioned, they would avoid DePaul in the second round if they were to get through, as Alexis Lewis opens the second half with a bucket inside.
And look for the Seton Hall seniors to really step up here on senior night. Alexis Lewis has only played 1 year as a transfer from Iona, but she's made a huge impact on the program.
Miscommunication there, was knocked away by Lauren Park Lane, but Butler retains possession. Spolier at the top of the key. Over to Parker, looking to get it inside to Torrey with 7 to shoot. Over Smith, tough shot. Fight for the rebound, it's Seton Hall ball. Great defense by Jasmine Smith. Anytime she's coming in little pockets of space, she's defended extremely well.
Yeah, she makes things happen on the offensive end and the defensive end. Seton Hall's played the whole game in their man-to-man. Let's see how long they stick with that.
Like you said, Coach, it was That first meeting where Seton Hall broke out a zone late on in that game and they erased an 11-point deficit to come back and win at Hinkle Fieldhouse. Baseline pass to Smith. She just kept that in bounds. It opens up for her inside. Samuels underneath, and the layup is good as Smith saved herself there on the far side and found the senior star for the 2.
And a great cut by Samuels. She saw the ball in the corner, cut right down the middle of the court. Smith kept her head up, gave it to her for the layup.
Here's Parker. Baseline drive. Elmore was there to meet her. It's a blocking foul. As Parker was trying to drive towards the basket. And that is Desiree Elmore's 3rd personal foul with 8.5 to play in the 3rd.
Interesting substitution by Coach Bozzella as Lauren Park Lane comes out of the game. Replaced by another freshman, Jackson, but he's talking to her right now. I wonder if it's just an adjustment they talked about at halftime that she didn't do.
Parker's first free throw is short. And for now, looks like Desiree Elmore is going to stay out there with those 3 fouls, Coach.
Also interesting, anytime one of the lefties, Parker or Spolier, get it, Seton Hall's trying to force them right. That time she got away with going left, and she drew the foul.
Boy, Jackson drove immediately into trouble. Oh, one official called a traveling violation. And I think that's what it's going to be here. I think there might have been a little bit of debate there as to where that was going.
Coach Bozzella thought he got a timeout down here with the official in the front court with Norma Jones. They said the travel occurred first.
I think that was the confusion. But like you said, Coach, it was the travel before the timeout. It's Butler ball. Bry inside, swiped away by Smith. 1-on-1. She scores.
You talked about it at the start of the half. She makes things happen. Now she's made things happen twice on the defensive end, turned it into offense.
She didn't even see it. She just threw her hand up and knocked it away, and it turns into a 2 for the Pirates, who are back up by 7 with 8:10 to play in the 3rd quarter. That ball knocked away, stolen by Samuels. Samuels spins out of trouble, gets it to Jackson.
Seton Hall really aggressive out of the locker room defensively here in the second half.
Samuels, cross-court pass Smith, thought about it. Back out to Jackson. 6 to shoot for Jackson. Tried to weave her way through a pack of Bulldogs and threw it away.
Tough play to make right there. Starting your pick and roll above the 3-point line. They tried to change the angle on it, but she dribbled right into help. Should have probably kept her dribble alive and kicked it to the corner.
Looks like Norma Jones and Christy Mosley are talking this. Oh, they're going to give it to Seton Hall, actually. Yeah, they're going to say it was last off of Butler. So Seton Hall catches a break there.
You're going to have a shot clock situation here. They're going to have to talk about it. It'll be a short clock, probably 3 or 4 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, another look at it here, and Bry was the closest to it for Butler. 4 seconds are going to be put back onto the shot clock here, so the Pirates will have to be quick out of this inbounds play. Jackson to inbound. Right into Elmore, who's got to get it up. She doesn't realize it. And a foul is called with 1 second on the shot clock, and Coach Godlewski can't believe it.
And I totally understand why he's frustrated right now. First, you think you have the ball. Then they change it to give the ball to Seton Hall. Then you think Seton Hall doesn't know there's 4 seconds left. You think you have them defended, and they call a little armbar on the perimeter.
And it did not look like Elmore was going to get that shot away in time either. She didn't realize until about right there, and she got it off, but it was late, and Seton Hall gets the foul call.
Yeah, Butler and man-to-man here. They'll switch a lot of these screens. They switch the ball screen right there.
Lewis with 9 to shoot. It's a 3. It's off. Fight for the rebound. It's back with Elmore. Yes, and a foul. Great second chance effort by the Pirates, and it's a 9-point game pending the free throw.
You know, you could run plays for Elmore. She could make great one-on-one moves. She could post up. But there she made a hustle play. She got a loose ball, went right to her left hand to get the N1.
8 points now, 4 rebounds, 3 assists for Desiree Elmore. 75.5% this season from the free throw line.
And again, the defense was good there by Butler. They switched the high pick and roll. But Elmore does what she's been doing all year, make hustle plays.
She does miss the free throw, though, the redshirt junior from Hartford, Connecticut.
I've lost many games in Hartford, Connecticut, by the way, just so you know.
Well, for the Seton Hall faithful, they're just happy that she's going to be sticking around for one more year. She's got a lot of room to grow, even though she's had a phenomenal Seton Hall career to this point. Caceres late in the shot clock, off on the three. Bry fighting for the rebound, and I think there was a foul off the ball against Seton Hall. Jasmine Smith tagged with it with 2 seconds left on the shot clock.
And again, Caceres knocked one of those threes down in the first half. Missed this one, but they do a good job chasing down the offensive rebound, drawing the foul. They'll keep it for 20 seconds.
Parker on the inbounds for Butler. Into Spolier. Driving on Samuels, and she is fouled going up with it. That's what Spolier can do inside. She has got her own bag of tricks in the post, and she'll head to the free throw line for a pair on a nice baseline drive.
And I just love the way she plays the game. She's crafty. She understands how to get her shot off, understands angles. She's always going to get back to their left hand, and great players can always get back to their strong hand. I mean, I'm sure if you look at the Seton Hall scouting report, at the top of it is make Spolier go right.
In and out on the first free throw. She had a couple in the first half that almost rimmed out. That one does for Spolier. Her first miss in 4 attempts from the line today. She goes 1 of 2.
Little full court pressure from Butler here.
Seton Hall beats it. They got a 2-on-1 here. Samuels, though, lost track of it. Regains possession. Park Lane. And it's out of the hands of Elmore. Bry picks it up, and it's controlled by Parker. Spolier. Far side Parker. Bry with 8 to shoot. Caceres, too strong. Elmore tapped that out. Lewis saves it to Smith. And Park Lane controls for the Pirates up the floor. Oh boy, foul though underneath. Samuels, I was going to say, got absolutely swarmed on the baseline, but the foul is called.
And I think anytime you see Samuels or Elmore down on the block, Butler's going to send somebody over. Whether they can get there on the catch, before the catch, after the catch, that'll determine what happens on the play. But I don't think they're going to let the 2 best players for the Pirates beat them tonight.
10 points for Samuels, 8 for Elmore so far, 6 for Spolier, keeping a track of the stars so far in this game. That shot was short by Lewis. Offensive rebound on the stick back, no good by Samuels, but she is fouled.
And again, opportunistic by Samuels. If you can't get the ball on the block, if you can't touch it where you want to touch it, go chase down an offensive rebound. Elmore and Samuels have done that now in 2 straight possessions.
Samuels now with 10 points, 4 rebounds, and a pair of steals.
So on the last made free throw by Butler, they put on some 1-2-2 full court pressure, force Seton Hall into a turnover. It'll be interesting to see if Coach Bozzella goes to that here on this made free throw for the Pirates.
Samuels makes both free throws. Pirates now have a 10-point lead, tied for their largest of the game.
Lauren Park Lane going to pick up Parker full court right here.
Here's Bry, top of the key for Butler. Parker guarded by Park Lane. Thomas back in there, doing work in the post and scoring over the much smaller Desiree Elmore.
Great battle down there on the block for about 10 seconds by the 2 of them. Eventually, Elmore played behind her. She got the 2.
Elmore short on the 3. There's a foul underneath. Samuels is fouled. I think a couple of Pirate fans were holding their breath there. Samuels has 3 personal fouls, but she was the one who was fouled on the play. And it'll stay on this end with Seton Hall. Actually, it's going to be free throws. Butler's over the limit.
And Keith Miller talking to Ashanti Thompson right there, just about not getting too chippy. Both ends of the court right there, they got into it a little bit. These teams just fighting hard, playing hard. Thomas trying to help her team in any way she can.
And they were about to take it side out, but then they were reminded that that was the 15th foul. So it's free throws for Samuels.
And it's free throws for Seton Hall for 5.5 minutes, 2 shots on every foul.
Pirates still have 1 foul to give on the other end. Samuels makes the first free throw.
And again, you know, it's a battle of who does what they do best. Even though Butler tried to speed the game up a little bit right there, I don't think Seton Hall minds that. And right here, look for Butler to pound the ball back inside, try to pick up another foul on Elmore.
Both Elmore and Samuels have 3 fouls. 2 big free throws there by Shadeen Samuels, and the Pirates are back up by 10 with 5.5 to play in the third.
And good substitution by Seton Hall, getting a Lesh in there to battle with on the block.
She did a good job on her in the first quarter when Thomas came into the game the first time. And they are battling hard. It's 6-4 on 6-1 on the far baseline. Butler has 7 to shoot here. Out to Parker with 5. Parker for 3. Parker's good.
Really difficult shot right there. Lefty going right, pulls up, shooting over the defender to knock down the 3 at the end of the shot clock.
On the other end, Samuels to Smith.
And Butler back in the zone here.
Coach Bozzella was telling us they love to slide Alexis Lewis in the middle of that zone. She's going to go there right now. They find her. She puts one up and makes it.
Awkward shot by Lewis, but she knew exactly where she wanted to get to on the court. Seton Hall executed getting the ball in the middle, and she knocks down the little fadeaway jumper.
Boy, she held off there just enough, didn't she? And then found the space right by the Big East logo to knock that shot down. The senior has 9 points.
Spillar rejects the pick and roll, gets to the basket, uses her right hand and misses, and she picked up another foul there.
Yeah, commits the foul on top of it. And now she has 3 personal fouls. So Bry and Spolier now also in foul trouble for Butler as we head into this timeout. 4:16 to go in the third quarter. Seton Hall has a 9-point lead on the Big East Digital Network. Don't go anywhere.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time, none of you people can tell me to stop.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, we got to raise it up.
What can great minds do?
While at Seton Hall, I interned with the Superior Court of New Jersey, and that inspired me to go to law school.
I am a physics and civil engineering major, and I want to work on infrastructure in underdeveloped countries.
I'm the news director at one of the top college radio stations in the country.
I'm working with my professor on research that could help athletes during sudden cardiac events.
I started my own business, Classic Soccer Cleats, and I just sold it to a company in England.
Come see for yourself what great minds can do.
Pirates have a 9-point lead here on the Big East Digital Network. A little bling there on that hat. Really nice stuff representing the Seton Hall seniors here on Senior Day as we take a look at what's to come coming up after the regular season. Of course, it's the women's basketball tournament in Chicago. A lot to look forward to there. March 6th through the 9th. A lot of tickets still available. I need you to gobble those up. Single session tickets as low as $15. All session ticket packages include all 5 sessions of the tournament, and groups of 15 or more can purchase single session tickets for just $8. www.bigeast.com/WBB tickets. Again, it's www.bigeast.com/WBB tickets. Wintrust Arena in Chicago, and we have a lot to figure out before we get there, Coach.
And bring your funny hat, by the way. You will look tremendous in that. Look, I don't know what's going on in the Big East in the other games right now, but this game is exactly what we thought it would be.
Yeah.
Both teams trying to have their style win out. I'm really concerned for Butler about the fouls. They have 5 fouls right now with 4:16 to go in the quarter. Seton Hall could just put their head down and drive it and shoot 8 or 10 more foul shots this quarter.
That's going to be big as this quarter continues. Big first free throw there by Alexis Lewis. The senior is the second Hall player in double figures here on Senior Day.
You know, and for Butler on the offensive end, they get the ball inside. Thomas is doing a good job making Seton Hall's best players work, although Alesh is now in to guard her.
Just going to say, Alesh, when she's been in there, has made it a lot tougher on Thomas down low. Thomas has 4 points and 2 rebounds so far for Butler off the bench. Here's Spolier. Underneath, tapped away by Lewis, stolen by Lewis. Lewis up the floor, runs into trouble, pulls it back out.
Such a smart play by Lewis.
Smith now's open for 3. In and out, and Thomas has the rebound.
Just a veteran play by Lewis. Didn't really have a handle on the ball. Kicked it back out for the open 3.
Boy, Samuels almost took that away, but she ran out of bounds trying to get to it. It's knocked away again. Pirates have it. Park Lane to Samuels. The lefty layup is good. And the Pirates have their largest lead of the game. It's 13 with 3.5 to play, and Butler calls for time.
What a smart play by Park Lane, letting Samuels run the floor for the lay-in.
With 3:29 to go, Pirates have a 13-point lead. Still a long way to go here in South Orange on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're going to work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go show them. 1, 2, 3. Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East Way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're going to work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go show them. 1, 2, 3. Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East Way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
13-point lead for Coach Bizzella's Pirates here on the Big East Digital Network. Sean St. Jacques, Phil Stern, and Megan Caffrey on hand. As you take a look there, what a great graphic that is. Wizard of Boz here in South Orange. Obviously a Seton Hall alum. You talked to him so many times over the years, Coach, and he's always said it's been his dream job to be here at his alma mater, and obviously averaging 19 wins this season, second highest winning percentage in school history. Obviously the NCAA tournament appearances, a Big East regular season championship while he's been here as well, and his great career has just been phenomenal here in South Orange. What a job he's done.
Yeah, he just changed the culture. He made it a winning culture. He brought in kids that wanted to play in big games, and he's brought in kids that understand what he wants, and that's the most important thing. But getting to the NCAA tournament, getting to the WNIT every year, that's what they do now.
And they're trying to get into the mix for that again this season as Alesh has it, near side corner. Just under 3 to play here in the third quarter. Alesh steps into a 3, in and out. She hit one in the first half. Got a good look that time, just couldn't get it to fall.
Probably not what Seton Hall wanted out of the timeout, though. I'm sure Coach Bizzell was drawing something up for Samuels or Lewis right there. Seton Hall back to their man-to-man right here for this possession.
Pirates on a 6-0 run over the last 1:45 of the game. Caceres. Bulldogs have 7 to shoot. Caceres on the kick. Sexton far corner. Three-pointer is good. Caceres sets it up brilliantly, and Sexton knocked it down. It's a 10-point game.
And again, there was no reason for Lauren Park Lane to help out of the corner right there on the Caceres drive, and Butler took advantage of it by knocking down the three.
Smith inside to Samuels with Thomas on her into a cutting Lewis. The floater is good. Senior to senior, Lewis finds the space on a great feed by Samuels.
Good ball movement, tough shot in traffic right there to knock it down.
And now Lewis has 13 points and 6 rebounds along with 3 steals for the Pirates. Here's Caceres. Ripped away by Lewis. She couldn't quite save it. And it stays with Butler as Jackson and Elmore get ready to check back in with 1:42 to go in the third quarter. Samuels will check out. Parker will inbound for Butler. Bulldogs have 9 on the timer. Almost throw that away. Sexton to Parker in the far corner. Good ball movement here. Bry has to drive it inside with 1 on the clock. Sexton short. Elmore gets the rebound and saves it.
Sexton couldn't knock down 2 in a row. It would have been huge for Butler right there.
Park Lane on the drive. Forced back out. Elmore has a little space. Drive and kick to Park Lane. Sexton trying to rip that away from Jackson. Elmore in a good space. Forced out. Jackson fires. Short. Elmore the offensive rebound. No good. Good defense underneath, and Thomas grabs the rebound.
Thomas making a huge difference in the game at both ends of the floor. They've thrown it into her down here on offense a couple of times. Seton Hall has to double. She's kicked it to the open shooter twice.
Under a minute to play in the third. Almost knocked away from Parker. Great touch pass by Bry to Sexton, who drills a 3. How good of a pass was that by Bry?
It's Bailey in her hand. She got it out to the corner. That's two shots in a row from the corner for Sexton, and 2 of her last 3.
Pillow soft touch. Here's Elmore. 30 seconds to play in the third quarter. Elmore steps out for a 15-footer. It's short. Alesh fights for the offensive board. Lewis keeps it alive. And the Pirates can hold for the final shot if they want to. Jackson, though, takes it. Too strong, and Parker has the rebound, and Butler can hold for the final shot of the quarter.
And they will. And look for it to go inside right here.
5 seconds for Caceres. Just heaves it up. It's short. And Park Lane has the rebound, and that'll end the third quarter. Pirates, no points in the last 2:05, but they've been holding Butler in check in this third quarter. We head to the fourth. A great finish on hand in South Orange. Pirates have a 9-point lead on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
You're watching Seton Hall basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
All right, we got to be all in, all right? We got to make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
That's the Big East Way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
What can great minds do?
While at Seton Hall, I interned with the Superior Court of New Jersey, and that inspired me to go to law school.
I am a physics and civil engineering major, and I want to work on infrastructure in underdeveloped countries.
I'm the news director at one of the top college radio stations in the country.
I'm working with my professor on research that could help athletes during sudden cardiac events.
I started my own business, Classic Soccer Cleats, and I just sold it to a company in England.
Come see for yourself what great minds can do.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Sean St. Jacques, Phil Stern back here with you here in South Orange. 9-point lead for the Pirates. Let's send it over to the third member of our team, Megan Caffrey.
Thanks, Sean. Well, in the final 4 minutes of that quarter, head coach Tony Pizzella had told his team, this is the game right here. We need to assert ourselves, steal the ball, and really just put our head down and go. And the Pirates did force 2 turnovers from Butler in the final 4 minutes of that quarter, something that Coach Pizzella has to be very pleased about.
Thanks as always, Megan. And yeah, Coach knows this is the home stretch right now. 1 quarter to go, but it's a big quarter for the Pirates. Again, just because we are so interested with what's going on today, there's so much on the line for every team playing today. Maybe minus DePaul. They know they're going to be the 1 seed, and they're the regular season champs. Seton Hall with a win would avoid the first round of the Big East tournament, could get as high as the 4 seed, pending the other results of the game. Butler's hoping Marquette loses later today, because a win could get them as high as the 2 seed, pending the result with St. John's as well. But of course, the winner is going to be good with their seeding. And of course, that's the thing that hasn't been talked about a lot. If Butler loses, there's actually a chance they could drop as low as the 6th seed, although depending on how they feel about playing DePaul or when they play DePaul, that might not be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah. And as you talked about, big 3 there by Alexis Lewis out of the corner to start the quarter, the senior on senior night.
How big was that right out of the start? Lewis now tied for the lead with Shadeen Samuels, top scorer, 16 points apiece. Thomas underneath. Got past Alesh, but Alesh contested it. Torre fouled on the second chance.
And a great offensive rebound there by Torre. She came from across the court to go get that. She has a chance now to go to the foul line and cut into this lead for the Bulldogs. Talking about Coach Bruno, by the way, he wants to win today. Believe me, he wants momentum.
Yes.
He might have to see Marquette again next week.
Great point.
Next weekend, and he wants them to know that you know they're playing good basketball going into the final week of the season.
And that's the thing. You can never let up in this conference. It doesn't matter if you're in the penthouse or at the bottom. You got to be on your game day in and day out, because Chicago's looming. And like you mentioned, Coach, every team wants to be playing their best basketball at the right time, regardless of what matchup they end up getting, in whether it's the first round or the quarterfinals.
As Torre knocks in the second free throw, exactly, Sean. I mean, the bottom line is momentum plays a big part of who wins games in March. And again, this game right here will determine who they play. So here we go for the 4th quarter.
10-point lead for the Pirates, just under 9 to play. Smith threw that away inside, had nowhere to go with it. Here's Torre up ahead. Spolier to the basket, yes, and a foul as she got past Park Lane on the drive inside. 8 points now for the senior star.
One of the few fast break points today for Butler, but you see Spolier, she could do a little bit of everything. She gets out on the break right there. They do a great job of finding her, and she finishes and one with her left hand on the right side of the basket.
Misses the free throw. Good box out on the shooter by Lewis, but it's a rebound fought for, and Spolier comes out with it. Lewis did everything but grab the basketball.
And it's little things like that that drive coaches nuts. Good free throw box out, but still the loose ball was taken in by Butler.
Wow, Spolier whipped the ball around, but Samuels fell down. I don't think there was any contact, maybe on the shoe or something like that, but it's thrown away and the Pirates have it.
Remember, we started the day talking about physicality. This is going to be a really physical 4th quarter. Can Seton Hall match Butler?
Lewis stepped out of bounds, I think on the sideline before she drove baseline.
Keith Miller on the call there. Coach Pizzella not happy with it, but he was right there. And again, huge possession for Butler, down 8.
Torre to Sexton, who's had a couple of big shots in this game so far, as has Thomas. Good defense by Alesh, and a traveling call. Boy, Alesh has been really strong defensively, and a lot of times has made it really tough on Ashanti Thomas.
And she's the only one Seton Hall has to match her size. Does a good job playing without fouling, keeping her hands up, moving her feet. She wants Thomas to make a post move.
And on the roster, she gives 3 inches to Thomas there and still is able to make it tough on her down low. Pirates have it back with an 8-point lead and 8 to play.
And it looks like a 1-3-1 zone here, or a 1-2-2 by Butler. Just a different look up front to make Seton Hall think about what they want to run.
Well, Spolier read that pass really well, but Spolier could not come up with it. Back into Park Lane. This is Jasmine Smith. Great find inside Elmore, though. I don't think she realized that she maybe could have gone up with that. but regardless, it's a foul.
And it did look like a 1-3-1 there by Butler. Seton Hall did a good job throwing it diagonally. The wing didn't drop in time for Butler, so again, Seton Hall draws the foul, take it out on the baseline.
That's on Bry. That's her 4th personal foul, so Bry and Torre are in foul trouble with 4. Spolier has 3. Keep in mind, Samuels and Elmore have 3 apiece as well for the Pirates. 7:39 to play. Lewis has 8 to shoot and lost it. And a foul on, I think, Lewis, as Spolier went away with it. It is going to be on Lewis. It's her first, but it's the team's 3rd of the quarter.
Again, that'll start to add up on Seton Hall with 7:36 remaining. Butler does a great job, no matter what defense they're in, of playing great team defense, helping each other out.
Oh, and Parker lost it out of bounds. Not sure that was even contested, and it's a mental mistake there by the point guard.
Unforced turnover there by Butler gives Seton Hall a chance to extend the lead here, maybe up by double figures.
Last 2 minutes, 3 turnovers apiece for both teams.
And again, part of that could be they both played Friday night, close games. Butler, Seton Hall, everyone could be a little tired. Butler's bench is a little short.
Butler lost a heartbreaker to St. John's on Friday, and Seton Hall had to grind one out here at home against the Xavier Musketeers, again, who are battling for seeding at the bottom of the standings today as well. As both teams are down there. Georgetown down there as well, as Providence trying to avoid DePaul as well. But you can't avoid Alexis Lewis. Pure on the triple. And it is an 11-point Pirate lead. Lewis has 19 points to lead all scorers.
And again, on the baseline out of bounds, they just ran her out to the ball side wing. 1 pass and a knockdown 3.
Inbound, or I should say interior look to Bry, knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Butler with 6:51 to play. The senior Alexis Lewis, 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 steals on senior night. On the inbound, Sexton way off. Bry couldn't get the rebound. Ripped away by Parker, but she commits the foul and kept her nerves in check there.
And again, you know, we featured Lewis at the beginning of the game. She stepped up here on senior night. Her 1 year playing for Seton Hall, taking a lot of pride in senior night. Butler right here going to come and pick up full court. Looks like a little 1-2-2 with some size at the top with Bry.
There were times last season where we talked to Coach before games, and he kept saying, man, I just wish we had Alexis Lewis. I wish she was eligible for last season's team. Well, he gets her for this year, and what a year it's been for the senior. And it's really been Big East play where she's really shined this season. And boy, I know a lot of Pirate fans around here can't wait to see what she does in the postseason as well. That ball's off of Torre. That should be Pirate ball, and I believe it is.
And again, we talk about Desiree Elmore making little plays. Right there, she just went and kind of boxed out Bry in the corner because she knew the ball was off of Butler.
Heads up play by the redshirt junior.
Tough place to inbound from. They get it in up top. And Spoliar is on Park Lane here up top.
4 to shoot. It's a 3. Short on the near side by Samuels, and Bry has the rebound for the Bulldogs. 52-41, 6:11 to play. Here's Torre for Butler, and she is fouled on the drive inside. That is the last foul to give for Seton Hall with 6:07 to go. That is the 3rd foul on Lauren Park Lane as well. 3rd player for the Pirates with 3 fouls. By the way, everyone in foul trouble is on the court right now, so that's something to keep in mind down the stretch. Elmore rips it away from Torre. Lewis to Elmore, and Park Lane will reset. Clock is in the favor of the Pirates here.
Good smart play. They didn't have any numbers. Bring it back out, run a set.
Elmore. Inside to Samuels. Parker had knocked that away initially, but it's saved by Park Lane on the perimeter. And the Pirates have 7 to shoot. Park Lane on the drive. Gets past Parker, throws up a prayer, it almost goes. Fight for the rebound. Samuels got it, but she traveled as she hit the deck.
Hustle play again by Shadeen Samuels. Just got knocked off balance a little bit in the air. Tough call to get the travel right there. No one's guarding Spolier down here. Now Samuels comes down. Big possession here for Butler.
Parker calls her own number and scores through the contact off the glass. What a tough shot.
And again, I think Butler wanted to press right there, but only Bry was up.
Yes, and a foul for Samuels on the great feed inside by the freshman Lauren Park Lane.
Great answer right there. After Parker goes all the way to the basket uncontested, Seton Hall pushes it right back for the N1.
Lauren Park Lane will head to the bench. Got a big high five from Coach Bozzella. She went to the bench. That was a big play, like you said, Coach, after a tough drive by Parker on the other end, who finished through Park Lane contact. That could have been the 4th foul on Park Lane. She was able to keep her hands up, didn't get the foul call. Now a chance for 3 at the line for Samuels.
And I think she got some blood on her knee or on her shorts right there. Eagle Eye Norma Jones points that out, and both teams will go to the bench. They'll have 30 seconds to fix that and then shoot the foul shot.
Boy, we had to get a little zoom on our camera just to see some of that. You're right, Norma Jones saw that from the other side of the court.
Yeah, veteran official. She knows what's going on.
On top of it, no question about that.
She knows Samuels was trying to cover that up right there. Also some blood on the floor. You can see both referees going to point it out to the trainers right there. So we'll have a little longer delay. Again, both teams benefit from it. They can talk about what they want to do here. Maybe a little pressure from Seton Hall just to turn the dribbler after the made free throw.
It's just another example of how hard fought this game has been. Every possession, every second ball, every offensive rebound has been hotly contested. Both coaches are getting everything out of their play. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
It really has, and every time Seton Hall's pulled away, Butler has gotten themselves back into the game. Again, a battle of attrition. Do they have enough left in the tank to fight back from a third double-digit deficit? Again, after playing an overtime game Friday night, after a couple of kids being out with injuries right now. But again, good stoppage and play for both teams just to be able to get a rest and talk a little bit about how we're going to play this next couple of possessions until the media timeout.
Seton Hall's largest lead of the game was 44-31. And right now it's an 11-point lead with 5:15 to go. Butler, the big thing for them in this game, no question about that, 23 turnovers so far, 4 in the last 4 minutes, and Seton Hall has been making them pay by scoring on just about all of those possessions, it feels like.
Yeah, that's what we talked about, controlling the tempo. So if they're going to get turnovers, they're going to turn them into points. It's an up-tempo game, and that's what Seton Hall wants. When Butler has controlled the game, it's been more of a half-court game, getting back on defense, making Seton Hall run some different sets to try to score.
And we had that stat earlier. Seton Hall this season 16-1 when holding teams under 70 points and 9-0 when holding teams under 60 points. They're on track for that right now.
Absolutely. If that stat holds true, then I mean, look, it means they played great defense down the stretch. At 43 points right now, Butler certainly has a chance to get to 60. It's just a matter of shutting down, I think, Spolier, who should try to get going here in the last 5:15, and they'll probably look to go to her a lot.
And another stat that I think is going to be a little under the radar, but Coach Bozzella told us it really had to be close, was the rebounding. Butler's only +4. It's not a gigantic margin there. That's, again, you got to give the extra effort a lot to not only Alexis Lewis, who has 8 boards, but Samuels and Elmore 7 and 6 boards respectively for them as well.
And like we talked about at the top of the broadcast, it's about matching the physicality of Butler. Even with Thomas getting all these minutes tonight and helping Butler inside, Seton Hall is hanging around on the rebound stats.
Shadeen Samuels is now a perfect 5 for 5 from the stripe today. She's up to 19 points on her senior day, and the Pirates have a 12-point lead with just over 5 to play. Spolier from Parker. Kick out to Torre. Caceres baseline jumper is in and out, and Elmore has the rebound for the Pirates.
Again, Seton Hall shouldn't be in that much of a rush right now. Run your sets, take some time off the clock.
Jackson gets a good screen from Samuels. Samuels then cut right to the basket, and Elmore finds her for another 2. 21 for Samuels. Pirates with their largest lead.
Great pass and cut by Samuels, and Elmore does a great job finding her in the middle of the Butler defense.
Same spot for Caceres. This time she drains it. 5 points for Caceres. And Butler's needed all 5 of them today. A couple of the role players for Butler have had to chip in to keep them hanging around in this game. Elmore, same exact play, and Samuels this time through traffic can't knock it down. But a reset for the Pirates. Jackson on the trigger, in and out. Fight for the rebound, Parker has it. Over to Bry, and Butler will reset. Bry on the drive. Torre, Caceres, other side of the baseline, and it's good. Back-to-back baskets for Caceres, and it's a 10-point game with under 4 to play.
And here comes some traps by Butler, trying to speed the game up a little bit.
Which is not something you say a lot about the Bulldogs.
Nope, and again, Smith, Seton Hall does a good job breaking it.
I think that was last off of Torre, and it is. It's going to stay with the Pirates. And with 3:32 to play, we will head into a media timeout. Down the stretch they come in this Big East regular season. The Pirates leading the Bulldogs by 10. A big 3.5 minutes to play here in South Orange on the Big East Digital Network. Stay with us.
We aren't just dreamers. We're doers.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Good things happen when you unleash a Butler Bulldog.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's break it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
Sean St. Jacques, Phil Stern, Megan Caffrey back here with you on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi. Pirates leading Butler by 10 with 3.5 to play here inside Walsh Gymnasium. Everybody's got something to play for today in the Big East. Seton Hall trying to avoid the first round of the Big East tournament. A loss would put them there in all likelihood. For Butler, they are trying to get up to the 2 seed if they can. Of course, they'll need some help from DePaul and St. John's later today as well. But of course, it could a million things could happen today. I can't even put it into words. A ton could happen. We're told that Villanova's already won over Providence, so they will finish the season 11-7. So that tells you all you need to know about this game. Seton Hall really needs this one in order to make sure they're not in the 7 spot.
And another big steal right here by Parker out of the inbounds play.
And she lays it in. It's it should be an 8-point game with just over 3 minutes to play.
And one of the other things coaches think about is if you could sweep a team. So
yeah.
Seton Hall has a huge advantage over Butler if they can get the second win and sweep the season series.
That's another thing that's on for this game as well. Samuels, just off the rim. And it's back with Butler with under 3 to play.
I mean, that ball did everything but go in here for the senior on senior night in Walsh. The iron unkind, as they say.
Oh, Timmy Brando reference there. Love it, Coach. Here's Bry for the Butler Bulldogs. 15-footer is good for Torre, and it's a 6-point game.
And again, Butler with some full court pressure, a little 1-2-2.
Pressure from Butler.
Got to get it over.
Slipped. And Lauren Parkland got it over, and she was fouled. There was a late call there,
but right
Keith
call.
Miller was on it, and he got the right call. You're absolutely right, Coach. Let's go to Megan Caffrey, who has more on the Butler Bulldogs after that last huddle.
Thanks, Sean. Well, this intensity coming out of Butler is exactly what Coach Godlewski urged from his team in that final timeout. He said, we still have time. Let's settle down. Let's get some stops on defense and take some risk on offense. He said, it's our time, and it's our time to gamble.
Thanks as always, Megan. And we just learned during that last stoppage, that was the 5th foul on Torre. She is done for the day with 2.5 to play.
And number 22, Catherine Strong, has checked in for the first time tonight. So again, Butler having to go deep in their bench after some injuries and sickness on Friday night.
5 to shoot for Park Lane. driving inside, blocked by Bry, 1 on the timer.
Earlier in the first half, you saw Seton Hall, this kind of situation, throw a lob to Samuels. Let's see if they don't do the same thing.
Right into Elmore, had to put it up. It was late and off the mark. That's going to be a shot clock violation. They say she didn't get it off in time. And it'll go back to Butler with 2:08 to play.
Really what we're looking at is the end of the first half. 6-point game. Who's going to have the last 2 minutes where they execute, where they hustle, where they get the rebounds and loose balls?
Butler went on an 8-0 run at the end of the first half. They're on an 8-0 run now, but it's picked off by Elmore.
Seton Hall went zone right there for the first time tonight. They saved it for the last 2 minutes, and they get the turnover.
That was the difference the first time these two met. And Coach Bozzella calls a timeout with 1:46 to go. Boy, Coach, you were right on top of it. They went right to what helped them in the fourth quarter at Hinkle, and a huge steal there by Desiree Elmore. That is her third steal of the game.
And because Seton Hall did such a good job playing man-to-man for the whole game, they could save their zone for the end of the game. You want a little wrinkle, a little change-up. And now right here, great timeout by Coach Bozzella to talk about where the ball wants to go. It's got to go to Samuels. It's got to go through Elmore. Everyone else gets a shot on a spot up or an offensive rebound.
We were talking to Coach Bozzella earlier before the game. He said, I'm going to save it. I'm going to use it at some point. He wasn't going to tell us when, but he saved it for a good possession there.
And look for Butler right now to come out after the ball's inbounded and get some traps going. Not necessarily to get a steal, but maybe a deflection. And again, force Seton Hall to speed up a little bit and not run what they just drew up in the huddle.
Elmore gets it now over to Park Lane out of the timeout. Pirates with a 6-point lead, 1:40 to play. Last game of the regular season in the Big East. On a cut inside, Samuels in traffic, is fouled. And now, well, the Seton Hall bench is up.
I think they wanted a technical foul.
They were looking for it.
I don't think one was. Oh, it was given.
Looks like it was, actually. Norma Jones and Keith Miller were talking about it. And you saw most of the bench get up off their feet. And it looks like, well, let's confirm who this is on first. There's a foul initially. Strong picked up a foul. Wow, so it's Strong for the foul and then Strong for the technical. That's her fourth and her fifth. She fouls out on the same play. And now Seton Hall have free throws for the foul and a technical on top of it with 1:32 to play.
And we'll see if we can get an explanation from Norma Jones. She's a veteran referee. She's not giving a technical foul with under 2 minutes to go unless it's completely warranted. Now again, if I'm a coach, I completely hate that if I'm coaching the game, and I'm sure Coach Godlewski is not happy about that. But again, Norma Jones, veteran official, you probably could trust that whatever she did was right.
So Samuels will shoot the technical first. And hits. So this is a two-shot technical. And Samuels makes both of them.
And again, Seton Hall will get the ball also. That's what's huge about this. This could be a 6 or 7 point possession.
So now it's the Lewis free throws after that. So actually Lewis was fouled. She makes the first. Another look at what happened there briefly. Lewis misses that one. So Pirates now extend the lead to 9, 60-51 with 1:32 to play. Lewis will inbound. This is a big possession now for the Pirates, like you said, Coach. Trying to extend it back to double figures.
And here Butler's going to come and trap him in the backcourt right here. Lauren Park Lane does a good job dribbling out of it.
Elmore lost it, got it back, missed the shot, gets her own miss back, fights through it, yes, and a foul! Desiree Elmore would not give it up. Chance for a 3-point play.
And she did what we've been talking about all game. Go back, go and get it off the backboard, right? She's relentless, she doesn't stop, and somehow she always gets to that left hand for an and one.
10 points now for Desiree Elmore. It'll stay that way, but she gets her own miss. None of the other Pirates were with her. And she restores the possession for the Pirates, and Park Lane is fouled with 1:14 to go. A huge sequence here, starting with the technical.
And we talked about this earlier. One of the things that drive coaches nuts, offensive rebounds on missed free throws, especially when there's nobody on the line right there for Seton Hall. Hey, look, you can go back a couple years. The Gonzaga men's basketball program didn't advance to the championship game because they didn't block out twice on free throws. You know, coaches talk about all the time, especially here at the end of games. You got to secure the ball.
Park Lane at the line makes one and makes two. 13-point lead for Seton Hall with 1:14 to go. And the Pirates in 18 seconds score 7 points. And now a turnover. Jasmine Smith is fouled with 1:08 to go, and Butler's falling apart.
You know, the turnovers at the end, the technical foul at the end, but they still have a chance because, again, they have 3 timeouts left in women's basketball now. When the clock gets under a minute, call a timeout, advance it into the front court, run a quick play where a lot of time doesn't come off the clock, a lot like the NBA. So they're still in the game, but they need some threes, or maybe they're not.
I was going to say, Butler just emptied the bench after that last foul. Ellen Ross is in the game, a player that you don't normally see a lot. Thomas back in as well for Butler. And Sarah Humphrey, who's actually playing through a hand injury, is going to come into the game as well for the Butler Bulldogs. Jasmine Smith at the line. Makes the first.
You know, and again, look for Coach Mazzella maybe now to start to get the seniors out, get them their last ovation here in Walsh.
Yeah, Femi Funes is getting set to check in, as is Kalia Harris. So Smith knocks them down.
And they'll do it one at a time here.
They'll start with Shadeen Samuels, who gets a standing ovation here inside Walsh Gym. What a phenomenal career. And Walsh makes sure she knows it. Sexton on the other end, in and out on a 3. Fight for the rebound. Thomas kept it alive. Under a minute to play. Drive inside and a foul by Femi Funes. And 2 free throws coming up for Butler. 54 seconds remaining.
So whatever happens here in the standings, Seton Hall has a sweep over Butler.
Alexis Lewis is next for the seniors.
You know, and the senior Alexis Lewis started out, had a great career at Iona College, you know, where Coach Mazzella was the former head coach and where my former assistant Billy Gotzi is now the head coach. And she came in here and did exactly what they wanted in her 1 year at Seton Hall. Obviously, there's more basketball to play, but she lived up to the billing.
Off the missed free throw, Butler had it for a moment, but Park Lane comes out with it for the Pirates, and it's down to 45 seconds. Well, the biggest thing that the Pirates had to do today, obviously, was win because of this one reason. They did not want to play in the first round of the Big East tournament. That is going to be secure after this final buzzer sounds.
You know, it's just a lot easier psychologically to win 3 games than 4, and it gives them a huge chance now.
Barbara Johnson, the third senior, who's back into the game for the Pirates, misses on a 3. Shot clock is turned off. Lane at the other end for Robinson. So with 21.5 to play, it's now 66-33 Seton Hall. And Lauren Park Lane, with the shot clock turned off, will bring it up the floor. And Walsh is going to let their Pirates hear it in the final seconds.
And what this does also for Seton Hall, a lot of momentum going into next week. Butler will regroup after this tough road trip. Sometimes it's good to get the losses out of the way going into the conference tournament.
What a fun game to end the Big East regular season. It's the Pirates that come out on top, 66-53. Seton Hall will go right to the quarterfinals of the Big East tournament. Butler will as well, but now the seeding is very much in doubt depending on how the rest of the day's games fill out. But for Seton Hall, it's job done.
And what the coaches do right now is they go back to the locker room, they turn their phones on to see how the other games went. And literally that's how they're going to find out unless somebody at the table was telling them. And so it's exciting right now to see who you're going to play, who you're going to go prepare for. Obviously everyone in the Big East knows each other really well, and you want certain matchups.
Seton Hall wins it 66-53 here on Senior Day in South Orange. We'll take a quick break. More to come after this on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be. I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
That's the Big East Way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
Sean St. Jacques, Phil Stern back here with you. Pirates win it on Senior Day, 66-53. The seniors getting their own banners here in South Orange. They were both able to have some phenomenal performances today. Let's see them in real life. We'll send it over to Megan Caffrey with Alexis Lewis and Shadeen Samuels.
Joined with Seton Hall senior forwards Alexis Lewis and Shadeen Samuels. Alexis, I'll start with you. Your team forced Butler to have 26 turnovers defensively. How are you able to pressure them?
I mean, we come out and we want to make teams uncomfortable from the jump, and that's exactly what we did, and that's why we forced that many turnovers.
Today was also senior day. You were both honored before the game. When you came off the court, you had a standing ovation. How would you describe what that moment was like?
I don't know. It's like speechless, honestly. I've been here 4 years now. A lot of these people have been here since I was a freshman, so it means a lot to me, and you know that just carried over into the game.
You knew coming into this weekend, 2 wins were critical to help yourselves in the Big East tournament seeding. How are you able to get it done this weekend? How are you able to mentally keep yourself composed to come away with a 2-0 weekend?
I mean, as seniors, for me and Shadeen, this is everything for us. This is the icing on the cake for going into the tournament and make sure we get the seed that we want to make sure that we can continue to build and win the conference tournament.
Alexis and Shadeen, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sean?
Megan, Alexis, Shadeen, thank you so much. An extremely eventful and fun game here in South Orange. It ends up being the Pirates who come out on top. Again, the final score, 66-53. Coach, a lot of fun.
You know, it really was all we thought it would be, right? It was intense, sometimes really good basketball, sometimes a little sloppy, but in the end, both teams left everything on the floor in a game that was very important to both teams going into March.
What a fun game. What a fun day. Final day of the regular season. It's March 1st. It's felt like March throughout the day. There was a great crowd here inside Walsh Gym as well. 23 points for Shadeen Samuels, 20 for Alexis Lewis. The seniors stepped up, and the Pirates come away with a 66-53 win. For our entire crew, Megan Caffrey and Phil Stern, I'm Sean St. Jacques saying so long from South Orange. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and enjoy the madness in March.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.